Good morning. My name is Penny Parker, and I am the course lead for Accounting 1100. If you're watching this video, you are registered for that course. While you may not be in my class, you will be in one of the other sections that are being offered this fall at Fanshawe College. So I'd like to begin by going through the Fanshawe online site for this course. Let me share my screen here with you. There we go. You can see this is my site. I've got my instructor picture right there, but your instructor will have theirs and their information for you to contact them as well. So to begin, the first thing that I would tell you to do is to read your instructor's welcome. They've either just used my welcome or they've customized it for themselves, whatever, that's fine. So if you look down on that page, you'll see that I provide all of the information about your textbook. So the textbook to this course is a very important part. So some courses you may be able to get away without purchasing a textbook, but you need this book because in accounting, we have a lot of questions that we'd like you to do to practice, etc. So this textbook has sample questions in it as well. It comes with a workbook, and the workbook is, we have it available either in a hard copy, which you can have sent to you if you're living in Canada somewhere, or if you'd like to purchase an online version of it, it comes with the PDF for the textbook, as well as a fillable PDF copy of the workbook, which is really great because you're able to go in and do the application questions that we recommend that you do for practice. It's just a great resource, either hard copy or PDF. We also have a number of assessments that are attached to that textbook. So you will have to purchase your book right away to get started on that. I give you the information here, how to go to their website. If you're buying the online version, you can do it quite easily by going right to the AME site, go to their store. I'll maybe show you that a little bit later on in my presentation. Another piece of information that you will need for your section is something called an enrollment key. You'll have a personal identification number or a PIN code, a PIN code, and you will also be asked when you sign up for an enrollment key. Now, for my class, I'm teaching a section 27. This is my class's enrollment key. So if you're not in my class, do not use that as your enrollment key because you'll end up in my class and your instructor will think that you haven't signed up yet and you may miss out on some of the assessment marks. So after you've taken a look at the first page here, also down near the bottom of that page, there is some help for you if you're having trouble either getting registered on AME or even accessing some of the tutorials. They have a couple of things here that they always tell students when they're having those issues to try. A lot of times it's connected to the browser that you're using, that you haven't emptied your cache for a while. So follow those instructions. If you still need help, reach out to AME because your instructor won't really be able to do anything for you. AME are the experts when it comes to their website. So just some information for you there. I also highlight the other evaluations for this course. I'll go through each of those in detail, but here's just a little summary so that you know you're going to have the textbook part of it, something called reflections discussions, which are on Fanshawe Online, and also your midterm and your final assessments are also on Fanshawe Online. And I'll explain those in greater detail in a bit. But if you're forgetting some of that information, i.e. how much are the reflections worth, just pop back onto the home page here for Accounting 1100 and you'll see that I've got it right there. So let's begin by going to the content section. The first thing that I always go through with my students is the course outline. This document is our contract, the college's contract with you. So if you, by the time you sign into this, you'll see that the course outline will be here. They just haven't been uploaded yet, but it will be here. And then down below that is another document called the course plan. This is a more detailed summary of the course and what you're going to be covering each week. I've actually got an even more detailed one, which I'll get to in just a moment here. But those are the formal documents that are on the Fanshawe system for this course. They get updated every semester. And then, as I said, they're not there yet, but they will be when you are viewing this. So in the course outline, I just want to make sure that you're aware of a few things, such as our missed evaluation policy that we have. So check that out. Also, the learning outcomes and the essential employment skills that you should be getting after taking this course. So every course has course outlines defined for it, and also essential employability skills. So sometimes those are similar in courses that are similar, but they're specific for each course and they're always listed for that course. So make sure you take the time to go through that document. Underneath there, I don't have anything in the bookmarks, but in your course dates. Now this is linked to the calendar that I have put all of the dates for all of the things that are due for you, i.e. the reflection discussions, the assessments on the publisher's website. Your midterm and your final assessments will be added to that calendar by your instructor, because we will have those during the 2-hour time. Typically, it may vary for some sections, but we'll put those dates in a little bit. Once your instructor gets going with the course, they'll notify you of those dates and they will put them into your course calendar. So if I just clicked on this and then I show the full schedule, you can scroll down and see week by week what is due. So everything is there. There's no excuse for you to miss anything because it's right there. And again, that's in the content under course dates. The next section here in the table of contents shows college policies and student support. There are some very valuable links here for you for things that if you have a question, let's say, for example, that you need help with either this course or your math course or other courses. We have a learning center that we have instructors and other academic people that can help you if you can't get help from your instructor. But hopefully with this course, your instructor will be your main source, to ask questions of. But there's the learning center link there. Accessibility services, counseling services, all of these link to where you can get some help if you have questions on those areas. Finally, we get to, or not finally, but the next link that we have here is called Getting Started. And this again has valuable information for you that you should make sure that you know where it is and how to access. The first document is the one I was referring to. It's more of a detailed picture, if you will, of the course. So we call it a semester at a glance document. My recommendation to you would be to download this. This is in an Excel template format. It has a lot of information. It has the weekly listing of the chapters, the learning outcomes from those chapters that we're going to do. It also shows you the questions that your instructor will likely recommend that you do in that chapter. At the bottom of that, I'm showing a summary again of the breakdown of the evaluations for the course. And you'll see that the AME, or the publisher component, is worth 20%. The reflection discussions are worth 20%, which I'm going to get to. And the midterm and the final assessments are each worth 30%. So there's just an overview of what is in the course. On the next page of a tab of that document, I have a listing of the AME, the publisher due dates for every chapter's material. I also have a listing of the reflection discussion due dates, which again, you'll find that we link a lot of these things between one page and another just to refresh your memory. So if you download this document, you'll see that there's a second tab, and on that tab, I have all of those due dates listed. I also have them referenced each week within the module content, which I'll show you momentarily here. So that's the semester at a glance document. The next section should have your instructor contact info and other information that they would like you to know. I've just put a little blurb in here about myself, how long I've been teaching at the college, etc. So you'll likely see the same information for your instructor if you're not in my class. I've also put how to get a hold of me. The best way for me is through email, your Fanshawe email. Please use your Fanshawe email and just email me through FOL. You can also get me on the Fanshawe email, which is pparker@fanshawec.ca. So Fanshawe Online, I respond to my emails quite quickly. I hope that you'll find that anyway. I've been known to do that. So that's my information. Next, we have the course communication expectations. And within here, within the business school, we typically say that you can expect a response from us within a 24-hour window. I know myself, I get back to people a lot quicker than that. Except for course on the weekends. So if you were to send me an email late Friday night, I may not respond to that email until first thing Monday morning. Sometimes I am answering email on the weekend, but don't expect to hear back from us right away if you send us an email outside of those hours, outside of the weekday hours. I will meet with my students either via Zoom, mostly via Zoom. If you would like to meet with me personally, I'm not at the campus, nor are any of our other Accounting 1100 instructors. So your best bet is to send me an email if you want to see me, and I will arrange a time to see you. So also on here, I've mentioned about the reflection discussions just because of the communication component here that we expect. So these discussions are worth 20% of your course grade. So that means you shouldn't take them lightly. You should make sure that you get them done. They're pretty easy marks actually to do. And I do have due dates listed for you, and you'll see that when I start to go through one of the modules, I show the link to the due dates. So your communication in there should be on a a business level, i.e. you should not use incomplete sentences or slang terms, etc. We expect you to answer as you would answer in a normal business environment. Netiquette expectations, we do take this seriously. Misuse of email and misuse of communication here at the college is not taken lightly. So please be cautious of that when you're communicating both with myself and other students in your classes. Go to the next tab that we have here, required course and technical resources. In this section, you will get the information how to order your textbook. Basically, the college bookstore has a link, so it's quite easy to follow. If you go into the bookstore link, you can drill down to where this course is within your program and order it that way. You can, I think I've got the link right here you could actually also go through the publisher's website to order through there. I believe the pricing is the same, and the online version, of course, is available. So just follow the links in here, and you are using the volume 1, the 5th edition of the Key Accounting Principles textbook published by AME Learning. Their support is second to none. I don't know how much experience you've had with publishers, but the AME support team, speaking from myself, they get back to me right away. So if you do not hear back from them in a reasonable amount of time after making an inquiry, just send me an email, or your instructor an email, and they will forward your request to them. So hopefully you'll hear back right away. So we just go through here your minimum technical skills. This is an introductory course, so our expectations of your skill level is not high. If you need help, our Fanshawe online or our Fanshawe help desk, they're great to help you out there. Any other questions, anything related to the textbook, as I've said, their support people are really good at helping. We do require you to have Adobe Reader, the Flash player, and I believe there's a few other things mentioned in this note here. So just make note of your resources that you should be using the bare minimum. All right, and then down to the course schedule and due dates. Here again, I have linked the semester at a glance document that I showed you earlier. There's also a page, a PDF page for the AME due dates and the reflection discussion due dates, which I mentioned. So I'll just open up. This is the second page of that Excel semester at a glance document. So I've just copied that here. So note that chapters for week 1, 2, and 3, and actually even the start of week 4, according to this document, your requirements are that you need to have the tutorials on AME finished for chapters 1, 2, and 3. So that's like almost a month that or 3 weeks that we're giving you to get that done, to get your book, to get going. And then the quiz and something called post-class homework questions on AME are due for chapters 1 and 2. And then for chapter 3, you'll see that there's a week delay. So for example, at the beginning of week 4, we expect you to have the tutorials done for chapter 3. We then expect you to have the quiz and the post-class homework related to chapter 3 finished by October 4th. So those dates are Mondays, and I've set that as Mondays so that, let's say you forgot on the weekend to get your AME work done, you've got Monday to get it done before anything's due. So just pay attention to these dates. You don't want to miss these because, as I already mentioned, AME is worth 20% of your course grade. So you definitely don't want to miss it. It works out that each is worth about 2%. We take the best of the 12 chapters, we count 9 of them. So we take your best 9, and that is weighted out of 20%. So the tutorials and the quizzes are worth a lower percentage than the post-class homework. So in total, the tutorials are worth 5%, the quizzes are worth 5%, and the post-class homework is worth 10%. So there's quite a few questions in that post-class homework, and it's designed basically to help you practice with what you've learned in that chapter, and it's worth marks. We also have that workbook, as I mentioned, the PDF fillable questions, which are for practice. There's no grades associated with those. The marks are obtained from AME, and I will go to that site just to show you what that looks like as well. There's a summary of the AME grades or the assessments and when they're due. And then the reflection discussions, they are also listed within the calendar, both the AME materials, due dates, and the reflection discussions. I've got them all listed in the calendar, and I'll go back to that before I finish, just to show you that they're there, that you'll get it, you'll see it right on the calendar that this is due, that is due, on what dates. So here's your reflection discussions. Now, we've got 13 of these, and over the 15 weeks that we're together, you'll have 13 of them, of which we'll count 10. So make sure, again, if you have to miss, 1 or 2 of these, it's okay, but certainly don't miss more than 3 of them, because you'll start to lose marks, and they work out to be worth 2% each week. So make sure that you not only do them, but you do them according to the standards of that's required for the discussions. And I will spend some time going through that momentarily here. That's just a list of the dates that we have for things. All right, so now I'll go back, and the first thing I will go through, I think, just to give you an overview of what your weekly material looks like. So down below the getting started, actually I'm in as myself. You know what, I'm just going to flip to go in as a student so that I see the same view that you do. Now, we do have a couple of other things that you don't see yet, but I'm going to mention them. So we'll go back to our homepage here, and I will start by going through I'll go back to the content and go into the weekly modules, which you see. So here's the weekly modules right here. So if I click on that, you'll see that I've listed all of the weeks right up to week 15. So each week has the same look and feel. I mean, they contain the same links, similar structure, so that it makes it easier for you to follow along as to what's required each week. So if I go into, because for this first week, you may or may not get a class this week. So because of that, we had orientation on Tuesday for level 1 people, and the holiday, Labor Day holiday, was on Monday. So because of that, we have taken up 2 weeks of the course to cover the first chapter. So when we look at the first module that I have here, that first link there goes into an HTML page, and this is the same. This looks the same for every single week. So in this, we define for you the learning outcomes of this chapter. We set out here what it is you're going to be doing. So I have a video, a recorded video of my PowerPoints of my lesson that I will give. I will do a live lecture as well, but I also have the video from a pre-recorded lecture that I did. Your instructors will either have their own video or they'll do a live one with you. It could be different than what you see here, but basically you will always have a lesson to view. I show here what it is we're going to be doing. So, obviously we're going to be setting up your AME account. There are some practice questions in the workbook for chapter 1 that we recommend that you do. They should be done. And then also I refer you to the AME site where you need to get working on your tutorials, your quiz, and your post-class questions for chapter 1. Even though, as I mentioned, they're not due until, and then I've got the link that you see there to that schedule that shows the dates. But I would, if I were you and you've got access to the AME site, I would do those things, keep up, start right away as soon as you get access. So there's a list of the practice problems. This is taken right from that semester at a glance document. So I've got it again here for you for easy view. And then down at the bottom here, the reflection discussion. So I'm going to go there now to show you where you access these. So I've got the schedule there for the due dates, right? So I'll just go right up here now to that reflection discussion. So where you find those is under the communications tab. So if you open that up, you'll see that there's a discussion board here. So at the beginning of that, I explain that they're worth 20%. I explain the rules, right? We have to have some ground rules for these discussions so that students know each one is worth 2%. If you give a complete answer according to what you're asked, some of them have a minimum of 100 words that if you just wrote a 2-word answer kind of thing, you're not going to get any marks. So make sure you follow the rules and answer the questions accordingly. And once you do one post for the week, your instructor will then view it, grade it, and may or may not respond to you. Hopefully they respond and you do get a bit of a discussion going. After you have posted your discussion, you are then allowed to see other people's posts, and then feel free to comment on those as well. But that initial post has to be done before you get to see anything else. So that's the rules. Those are the rules. So if we go down here, you'll see the first week is really easy. There's no reason why anyone, even if you don't have your textbook, there's no reason why you can't be doing this. The first one, we just want to know a little bit about you. We ask you some questions. So if you click on that discussion, you'll see it's not open yet, actually. It won't open until September 7th. Actually, you won't be seeing this until at least September 7th, so it's okay. But you will see each week there's an open and a close date. So after the discussion closes, you won't be allowed to go in and post. And that's because we've set due dates for each of these. So you click on that, start your discussion thread, and submit it, or just press enter kind of thing so that it's registered. So there they are there, and all of the dates associated with the discussion. So it's really not an erroneous task. Hopefully you'll enjoy doing those, and more importantly, get something out of it, right? It'll mean something to you to have completed those. All right, so that's it for the discussion boards. When we get closer to the midterm, we will make available to you a review assignment, which will help you practice, or allow you to practice what you've learned in chapters 1 to 6, because the midterm will include content from chapters 1 to 6. So we give you this assignment to do. The assignment itself is not worth any marks. It's in Excel, so you get to work with Excel as well. You can work back and forth with other students or your instructor to get help with it. I believe the instructors will have some help sessions booked for that. So work on that assignment. Then when you get to the midterm test date, under evaluations, now you won't be able to see anything right now because we don't have the dates posted in here yet. But when you click on quizzes, it should come up that you have your midterm and your final quiz. And that quiz, it sounds like it's easy, but it's really a midterm evaluation. That evaluation is worth 30% of your grade. Half of the questions in that will be based on your completed review assignment. So if you don't do the review assignment, you're not really going to have a fair opportunity to do well on the review assignment questions. So we're not grading the assignment, but you will be tested on it in this quiz, in the questions. The other half of the questions are based on material that was covered in chapters 1 to 6. So if you've done your work on AME, you've gone through your tutorials, your quizzes, your post-class homework questions, which are very important, by the way, because they allow you to apply the application, the understanding that you've learned in all of the chapters. We also have a practice test questions on AME, which I'm going to go to momentarily here, just bear with me. And you'll see what I mean when you look at those questions. So this quiz, it's there are some short answer, there are multiple choice questions, but it's on your Fanshawe Online, and your instructor will provide you with the dates, etc. So once that's been populated, you should be able to see this on your Fanshawe Online. So back again to my home page, and I think actually now might be a good time for me to go to the AME site. So that's what I'll do. I'll just and when you are on AME, just, you know what, I'm just going to make sure that this is being seen. So just give me a second here. There we go. All right. So here's the AME homepage. And I already have a username and a password, but for you being new, you'll have to create your own account as soon as you get access to AME. So they will help you if you're having issues doing anything related to AME, as I've said. So I will just get logged in here, and I will show you what our course looks like on AME. So once you do get logged in, you'll see that you have you should have two courses here. You should have the section that you're in. So you can see here that I have section 27 of Accounting 1100. So that's my course. You'll also see that there is maybe you can't see it here. Hopefully I can show that to you. There's a sample right here. Okay. There's a sample site here that says practice, no grades assigned. That is where you can go after the due dates have passed for the tutorials, the quiz, and the post-class homework for each chapter. After those dates have passed, you can go back in on the practice site and do those things as many times as you want. That's not worth any grades, but it allows you to practice and to redo some questions perhaps that you didn't do so well on in your quiz or your post-class. So it's a great opportunity for you to get some extra help there by practicing. So I'll go into the site that I have set up. Go back up to the top here. There we go. So this is my class. And when you get on here, the first time you sign into AME, you'll want to do the tutorial introduction. It's a part of your marks for the tutorials. So make sure you do that. And then there are some other materials here, whether you've purchased a hard copy or the electronic version, everyone will have access to the workbook. There's your workbook right there. And you'll also have access to the digital textbook. So know that they are there at the top of the page. And then each chapter has its own section. So don't be overwhelmed here, but chapter 1, because chapter 1 has a lot of information, base information that they need you to get before you can move on in accounting. So there are a lot of tutorials. There's probably more pages dedicated to chapter 1 in the textbook than any of the other chapters. So you've got a lot of tutorials to get through there. And then there's your quiz and your post-class homework. So basically, if I opened up if I open up the quiz, it will tell me that I'm allowed 3 attempts and it will close on Monday, September 27th. So again, be cautious of the due dates. They won't be open for you after the due date that's given. So that's the quiz. The tutorials all need to be done as well because they are worth marks. And then the post-class homework, same thing. If you click on that and you're allowed 3 attempts at each question, and they take the best attempt, and it closes also then. So each chapter, we give you the due dates for each one. So if you go all the way down, you'll see they're all set up the same way. At the end of chapter 6, you'll see that there's a practice test that will be open for you to view and to do the questions as many times as you want. And that's to prepare you for the midterm assessment. Same goes for chapter 12 at the bottom, the last chapter. You'll see there's another practice test questions for you to do. So there you have it. There's what you'll see once you do get logged into AME. Now I'll go back to my Fanshawe online site. And I may have to, I think I've pretty much covered everything from the Fanshawe site anyway. So hopefully this was a good overview for you of the Accounting 1100 course, and that you're looking forward to taking the course and meeting your instructor. And I hope the term goes well for you. Thank you for viewing this video.